First off, I like to put some lights across the front here. So when I go to do that, I like to drill a couple holes. First off, so you got something to secure the zip ties with. Like I said, these are just some cheap Walmart lights. I think 16 to 20 bucks on average at Walmart. They're pretty sweet. They're LEDs. You can run them off of any battery. I just happen to run them off of a LiPo battery. This is kind of an old one anyways. Doesn't hold a good enough charge to run anything, but works for running some lights. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started on this. So basically, let's find our whites. There's our whites. And I'll lay them out. Razor knife's nice to trim these back so you can solder your wires too. And then also forgot a pair of scissors to cut them. Makes it slick. So for the front, I'm going to run a set of 6 of these. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to just cut it right smack dab in the middle there. There we are. Now I'll just take, and these are sticky on the other side. I'll just take this razor knife, do a little bit of trimming right on the where you got to solder your leads to. Okay, I want to make sure you get all that rubber topping off of that. That way you can solder to it. Got clean leads there. Let's go ahead and heat them up a little bit and apply some solder. Thought I had it heating up long enough. Kind of run that out on that wire a little bit. That's why I like to have a piece of wood sometimes. Kind of helps when you're doing that. Okay, now your wires will be a little warm, so I try not to touch them too much. Don't like getting burned. Now we'll apply our wires. Let's do one side at a time. Okay, let that cool. One side's attached. Let's do this other side. Okay, looks good. Voila. Wire attached. So, what I like to do is make sure we're good as far as we got a nice connection. Don't want to get it all hooked up and go to hook up your main battery and bam, nothing happens. So I just strip out a little bit off the ends. Just hook it into a battery. So when you do hook this up, make sure you hook up the positive on your lights to the positive on your battery, and you'll be able to test it out and make sure it works. So we got that soldered up and it's good to go. So what I like to do with this liquid tape, it's a handy deal to have, and I use it a lot for all kinds of projects. So basically on the ends here, I just want to cover these up a little bit to make sure the leads aren't exposed, and that way it continues to make these waterproof, because these LEDs are waterproof. So we'll just dab some on there, make sure it's nice and covered, and I usually don't worry about putting any extra on it. It will be fine as is. You'll dry down and snug up and shouldn't have any problems. Okay, voila, one LED finished. And just kind of let it sit there so it can dry. Now, to get ready to mount this onto the shell itself, I like to use a 1/8 inch drill bit. Works great for your small zip ties. And what I'll do, kind of tricky here, don't have a lot of working space. Here, let's move this iron out of the way so we don't get burned. Okay, I got a little bit better working room. Be careful, your liquid tape is still wet. So we'll just kind of lay this across here for a second and see where we want this to kind of line up on the truck. I'm kind of thinking something like that. Make nice little headlights. You can do it however. For me, this works great. Set those lights out of the way. Now I've got my marks on the front here. Got 3 of them. And we'll go ahead and drill in. Watch your fingers, otherwise you will drill into your fingers. Okay, here we are. Now we've got our holes drilled out. And that will secure our lights on without obstructing them. Now we need to put a hole on the side here so we can run our wires through. I like to just kind of wallow it out a little bit so it's kind of got a little more of an oval shape than a circle, and your wires will run right through there pretty slick. So we'll go ahead and feed our wires into that. Okay, now we got these lights set in. So what we're going to do here is we're going to peel off the sticky side. Sometimes it's a little tricky and needs a little help. Okay, paper off. Now, let's kind of run that back down the middle there so we can see where we're going. Cool. So what we'll do here is, now we've got that in, we'll put some cable ties on, or zip ties, or however you like to give them. Get your middle hole. So what I'll do, feed them through the back. That way it leaves a little profile on the front and doesn't look too bad. Okay. I generally won't tighten them down all the way, not yet, until I get all the wiring done, because I like to run the wiring back through on some of them. It's a good place to secure everything too. Okay, now one little cosmetic look I like to do on these, because you can see the wires there. I'll just take a little bit of that liquid tape, because it's a semi-black body, and I'll just dab it on there, just kind of to make it blend a lot less noticeable. So, and then basically on the inside, I like to take and feed these wires back through this first set, just to make sure they don't slip out over time, and then we'll secure that down later on as we get everything wired up. So anyways, this is how you can put LED lights on your soft shell body. Hopefully that was helpful for you, and we will continue to finish this up, and I will add a little bit more to this video here towards the end, and you can see the finished product. Just kidding. We'll put some liquid tape on that in a minute, and we'll finish that up. So there's your front, there's underneath, and there's the back end. Kind of cool. Works out pretty slick. Like I said, we'll secure this down with some tape and call it good.